Hello, I'm Chris Lappin, and I'm joined by Tony Thorpe. You okay, Tony?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Yeah, so whereabouts are you this evening?
I'm actually not long finished work and I'm back home now in Leicester.
Oh, brilliant. So we just kick off at the start, beginning. How were you scouted by Leicester City as a youth player?
Yeah, I suppose it's the norm through lots of local football clubs. I used to play for a club called YMCA, which was a local football team, quite a good side in Leicester in those days.
Yeah.
And I got scouted by a lovely gentleman, unfortunately he's not here anymore, called Len Mulby.
Yeah.
Who used to do all the rounds of all the local football teams from under 16s right down to under 7s. And he saw something in me that he liked, and like I say, he got me into Leicester as a young kid. And I sort of developed from there, really.
Yeah, and following your release from Leicester, you signed for Luton Town, sorry. You moved from an attacking midfielder into a striking role at Leicester.
That's
Luton.
That's definitely true.
Which position do you prefer, and who did that?
Yeah, I mean, as a very young kid, I like to think a knack for scoring goals. Whatever position I played, whether it be midfield, out on the left, out on the right. But Lenny Lawrence decided, after David Pleat played me quite a few times, left for Luton. Lenny Lawrence decided that because I did have an eye for a goal, that it chanced me centre forward on a couple of occasions, and it paid off, and I had that eye for a finish, and the rest is history, as they say. I sort of took it in my stride and became a striker then for 20 years, I suppose.
Yeah, you've done very well. I think you got nearly a 1 in 2 ratio, if that looked right, wasn't it?
Yeah, I get asked quite a lot through lots of different sites and media sites and interviews, about my record, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, really. I think I finished with 167, and yeah, I think I have got a record in one in every 2 games. So as a striker, you can only be whatever level, you can only be happy to do that.
Yeah, and so you had 4 spells at Luton, 2 on loan. It must be great to see them back in the Football League after a few years out.
It's been a painful ride for them. I mean, they got very well mistreated 5, 6, 7 years ago and tumbled down the leagues. And it's a great club, Luton. I was back there last year watching the game live on BT, and I do try and get to go to a few games every now and again, and it's just fantastic to see them competing now. And they've had a sticky start, but they've sort of started to pick up over the last couple of weeks, so I do look to see how they get on very regular. Yeah,
so they've got 12 points in 9 games. So is survival, what will survival do this season?
I don't think that level of football is the strongest, but you've got teams that have been in it for the last so many years that are used to it, ready for it, prepared for it, whereas Luton have come out of a very strong season out of the conference, and they should have momentum and they should have confidence going into league football, definitely with the support that they have, to hit the ground running and do well. So we're very early into a season. Me personally, I think if they finish in the top 7, I think it is, in the division, they'll finish in a playoff place. Is that above them this year? I'm not quite sure. I think, me personally, I think if they can just establish themselves this year and next year really have a good push, I think that would be probably my guess.
Okay, so then you had a brief spell at Fulham before moving to Bristol City. Do you have fond memories of Ashton Gate?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time. Obviously, I had 3. I'd like to say that, and I don't want to upset anybody here, but I had 3 good times at 3 very, very good clubs, and I would class Bristol City, QPR and Luton in that. And my time at Bristol, my wife even tells me to this day, it's probably her biggest regret was moving from there, because I had 4 fantastic years there under so many different managers, but another very, very big club playing in the wrong league for me. So I know they're flying this year, so let's hope Steve Cottrell can guide them into the Championship next year.
You had another excellent scoring record there, despite a slow start, didn't you? It was 51 and
I had a very
28.
slow start, mate. John Ward brought me in with Eddie Akinbai.
Yeah.
Went for quite a lot of money. It didn't quite work for one reason or another. John parted company, and then Bristol had numerous managers within that year. So it was a sticky start for me, maybe down to my performances, maybe a little bit down to maybe the management style of everyone that came in. So a little bit of both. But as soon as Danny Wilson came in, I'd like to think that I did quite well for that club.
Okay, if we go briefly back to Fulham, who do you think should take over the club this season?
Yeah, I mean, I only had a little spell at Fulham, less than 9 months, under Kevin and Ray, who were two great guys. And I think Kevin pulled me one day and just said, we've had a real decent offer from Bristol City. And we also realised that you just signed a 4-year deal and you've not been here long, but you might not be guaranteed a first team place. So I thanked him very much because I couldn't speak highly of both of them. And I moved on, and Bristol at that time had just got actually promoted into the Championship, so it was a good opportunity for me. But Fulham's a great club. I'm sad to see what's happening at the moment, and I'd like to see Kit Simons be given an opportunity to. There's not enough young up-and-coming managers, I don't think, getting given that chance.
No.
You look at the manager, who's doing quite well. You look at Johnson at Oldham under really poor resources, is doing quite well. So yeah, definitely would like to see a lot more English coaches and managers given an opportunity. I'd like Kit Simons. I think he's Welsh, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like him to be given the opportunity rather than just spending silly money to get a big name in.
Yeah. So at QPR, you played under Ian Holloway. Is he as mad in real life as he comes across in the media?
Yeah, I get asked that quite a lot. He's an intelligent guy. I love my time at the club. I mean, obviously, I was quite lucky that the first year I went there, we got promoted.
Yeah.
So we had good times under Ian and Kenny Jackett, who, again, I couldn't speak more highly of Kenny. He was another good reason, Kenny and Tim Breaker, while that club did really well that year. It wasn't just Ian, he had good backroom staff, and them two deserved a lot of credit. Hence, whilst Kenny Jackett's flying at Wolverhampton Wanderers at the moment, very, very
He's an excellent
good
manager at that level, isn't he?
Yeah, and I've got to be honest with you, he's another one that should be given another chance at the highest level because he's very knowledgeable, Kenny. But yeah, great times, and Ollie, to be fair to him, is nuts, but he deserves a lot of credit because he has some fantastic qualities as well.
We do miss him in the Premier League. I really enjoyed it
I'm
last
sure
season.
the media do, because he's a bundle of fun. You don't ever know what to expect from him. He wears his heart on his sleeve as a player and as a manager, and he gives you a lift. He makes you feel, I'd say, an extra couple of feet tall, and that's the kind of guy he was.
Okay, you played for plenty of clubs in your later career. Did you have to do an initiation at each club? And if so, what was your favourite?
Say that again, so I didn't catch that, Chris.
I said, you played for plenty of clubs in your later career. Did you have to do an initiation at each club?
No, not really. I struggled. I'd like to think that I struggled a little bit at Swindon. I'd say that was probably not a very good time for me. You're going in there as a very good goal scorer. You have nothing to prove, but I'd come from really a couple of little niggly injuries at QPR in the second season, which kept me out most of the season, done my medial. So I just, under Andy King, who's a great guy, I just couldn't do it for him, and in the end I sort of fizzled out into I'd like to, I'm around about 34, 35 years old. I think my time was up at that level of football, which I have regrets over, because I always find that the lower you go, the harder it is. It's not the easiest. Times that I had at non-league and Stevenage, to be fair.
So what have you been up to since you left the professional game?
Yeah, I mean, I was coaching in America for nearly 2 years on and off with a good guy called Godfrey Ingram and Graham Ingram that had a so-called American soccer camp in the UK. So my natural progression was to probably go straight into coaching, but I've got to be honest, I'm a people's person. I've got great people skills. I love meeting different people. So I burst into recruitment. I am a recruitment consultant at the moment for Teachers UK, which is a fantastic company. So I've been doing that for well over a year now, and at the minute I love my job. And I also do Leicester's media as well, so I do all Leicester's home games.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So I was actually at the Man United Leicester game on Sunday, so I know you're a Man... Did you say you're a Man United fan?
Yeah.
Yes, they capitulated
Yeah, we'll be discussing it
very quickly, but Leicester deserved all the credit they could get.
Yeah, it seemed to go wrong as soon as Evans went off. So.
Yeah, I like Evans. He's pretty much the most natural defender that you have, whereas the other ones are more ball centre-half players, like to come out and play and stuff. But Man United will be fine. They just need a season and a half of building a team. They can't expect things to work overnight. It's not rocket science. It's going to take them a bit of time to build a good defensive squad there, because the rest of them are fine.
So you had a brief spell in management at, was it Hales Owen Town?
That's right. Yeah, I got offered the role from the two guys that I was working for through the US camp. Spent a bit of time in America, and again, at that level of football, you need a bit of luck, but you also need the resources. They cut the budget quite heavily. We let a player called Stephen Moore go. I probably remember Stephen Moore.
You go to Villa and Leicester, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You got it. And so they had quite a good squad when I inherited it, but then sort of midway through the season, it deteriorated and lost lots of players, and had to bring in a bit more youth. So it was a very difficult time, but I knew straight away that it wasn't for me at that moment, and resigned very quickly.
Alright, and then finally, I read you're a Liverpool fan. Is that right?
No, I'm not. I'm a big Celtic fan. Kenny Dalglish is my hero. So, from such a young age, my dad was Scottish, so I used to go and watch Celtic quite a lot. So I became a Celtic fan. I have got there's two clubs that I love watching, and that's Liverpool and Arsenal. But there's fond memories of the late 80s Liverpool team with Ray Houghton, Barnes, Beardsley, and stuff like that. So that's when I sort of enjoyed watching Liverpool. I thought they were a fantastic side in them days, and enjoyed it immensely. But Kenny, I should imagine it's down to Kenny. Kenny's my hero.
So do you think Celtic are really suffering with Rangers not being in the top division?
Yeah, you could say that, I suppose, Chris. I mean, I've been to a few derbies in my time, and it does keep the Scottish PL League very, very healthy. But at this moment in time, I think Celtic are actually suffering as a club at the moment. I bet one of my good friends, John Hartson, obviously Celtic, through Martin O'Neill. So, they are suffering, but that bit of the local derby, they have a bit more to talk about when Rangers are in that league.
Because I think they thought the league might become overall stronger
with
Rangers.
I think there's a lot of teams catching them up. Celtic will probably be fine this year and win it. It's not a foregone conclusion anymore. It ain't a 30-point lead. That's not going to happen anymore. With the resources of even Celtic missing Champions League, which is not going to be a foregone conclusion every year now, in the sense of the teams that they play, are getting stronger and stronger around Europe as well. So for that second stage, so they are going to struggle. But this year, I'd like to stick with them. I can't say they'll be fine, but Rangers are breathing down their necks now. I think Rangers are in the second division now.
I think the Scottish Championship, I think they call it now. Yeah.
So if Rangers were to win this year, then she'll be very interesting.
Okay, and well, thank you for joining me.
No, thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye.